Do you like being a father?
I love it.
Are you very involved with him?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Prince Michael Jackson, and I love my daddy. And I'm Daddy's baby, and I love my daddy. Daddy, thank you for my birthday cake, and I love you so much. I love my daddy so much.
He didn't just love his kids, he protected them with everything he had. To the world, Michael Jackson was the king of pop, a global icon, a genius performer, and sometimes a misunderstood mystery. But behind the glittering stage lights and endless headlines was a completely different man, a father, a gentle, caring, and fiercely protective dad. The kind who would read bedtime stories, cook for his children, and hide their faces from paparazzi just so they could have a normal life. While the media obsessed over his fame, scandals, and fame again, Michael's most important role was happening quietly, behind closed doors. And it wasn't on any stage. Jackson's fame wasn't just massive, it was dangerous. He knew what it meant to grow up in the spotlight, and he didn't want that for his kids. That's why, every time Prince, Paris, or Blanket were seen in public, their faces were covered, sometimes with masks, sometimes with blankets, sometimes with scarves. At the time, the media mocked him. People didn't understand. But Michael wasn't trying to be strange. He was being smart. He once explained that he wanted to give his kids something he never had, a chance at a real childhood away from cameras and headlines. By hiding their identities, he gave them freedom to go to school, play in the park, and live without being hunted by paparazzi. It might have looked odd to the public, but for Michael, it was protection. It was love in disguise. Michael Jackson wasn't just a provider, he was hands-on. At home, he wasn't the megastar, he was just daddy. He woke his kids up in the morning, made them breakfast, and read them stories at night. He played with them, laughed with them, and made sure they always felt safe and loved. There was no yelling in his house, no harsh punishments. Michael believed in kindness, communication, and understanding.
Brought his little son with him. He was a very concerned parent. He had a little bottle with him, and he had all the things for the kid. And he really seemed, from what I knew of him, he was a hell of a nice guy.
Paris once said in an interview, he was the best dad, ever. That wasn't just her being emotional. That was the truth. Michael raised his kids with patience and gentleness. He encouraged their creativity, pushed them to read books, and taught them to think for themselves. In a world where celebrity children often grow up lost in luxury, MJ's kids grew up with something money can't buy: unconditional love. For most people, Neverland was just Michael Jackson's fantasy world. But for his children, it was home, a place built from love, dreams, and second chances. Michael never had a real childhood. He spent his early years on tour, rehearsing, and under constant pressure. So, when he became a father, he promised himself his kids would get the magic he missed out on. Neverland wasn't just filled with rides and animals for show. It had movie nights, treasure hunts, and roller coasters, just for them. Blanket had his own little train. Prince and Paris had huge birthday parties with themes they chose. But it wasn't just about fun. It was about safety. Inside those gates, the kids could play without fear, laugh without cameras following them, and just be kids. To Michael, Neverland wasn't an escape. It was a gift, and he gave it to them freely. Michael Jackson had wealth beyond imagination, but he never wanted his children to grow up spoiled or entitled. He taught them that money wasn't everything, that kindness, humility, and compassion mattered more. Even with private tutors and a life of comfort, Michael made sure they understood the world beyond the gates of Neverland. He took them to hospitals and orphanages, encouraging them to see people who were suffering, who had nothing. He told them to give back, to stay grounded, to never act like they were better than anyone else. Prince once shared that their dad made them do chores, even when they had staff around. Michael wanted them to feel normal, to feel responsible. He reminded them constantly, "You're no different than anyone else. Always help others. Always be kind." In a world full of celebrity kids flashing their wealth, Michael raised his to carry values, ones that outshined any diamond. When Michael Jackson passed away in 2009, the world mourned the loss of an icon. But for his children, the pain was deeper. They didn't lose a celebrity, they lost their hero. At his memorial, an emotional Paris took the mic and said through tears,
"Ever since I was born, Daddy has been the best father you could ever imagine. And I just wanted to say I love him so much."
That moment shattered the media's image of Michael as just a pop star. He was a real dad, deeply loved. Prince later spoke about the discipline and values Michael taught them, how he led by example and worked tirelessly, even through pain. He said his father showed him what it meant to fight for your dreams. And Blanket, now going by Biggie, remains the most private. But even he once said in a rare interview that his father taught him to stay strong and think for himself. Their words weren't rehearsed. They came from the heart, from a place only children can speak from. That's when the world started to see who Michael really was. Not the man in tabloids, but the man who raised three remarkable souls. Most of Michael Jackson's parenting happened behind closed doors, but a few rare moments slipped through. And when they did, they revealed something beautiful.
My name is Daddy's baby. Because I have to talk on it. And I have to talk about you and me, okay? Hi, my name is Prince Michael Jackson, and I love my daddy. And I'm Daddy's baby, and I love my daddy.
Blanket, what does Christmas mean?
Love,
Love what?
family,
Your family. Who's your family?
you.
Me and people who love you.
He actually was one of the best fathers I'd ever seen. He would spend time with his children, he would talk to his children, he would spend time teaching his children.
Like this touching scene, teaching his little children how to dance the wiggle.
I never saw a man so close to his children than Michael. They were the world to him. He doted over them. He had taught them to read early, and he was constantly with them. They never left his side.
Daddy, thank you for giving me ice cream. You're the best dad in the whole world, and I love you.
These rare clips weren't meant for the world. They were memories, captured moments of joy, softness, and deep, unconditional love. They showed the real Michael Jackson. Not the superstar, not the performer, just a father doing his best. Michael Jackson left behind a legacy that shook the world of music. But ask his children, and they'll tell you his greatest legacy was love. Not fame, not fortune, fatherhood. Despite the chaos around him, court cases, media attacks, health struggles, he kept his focus on his kids. They were his peace, his purpose. He didn't just raise them, he protected them, taught them, held them when they cried, cheered for them when they succeeded. And even now, years after his passing, his influence lives on through them. Prince speaks with wisdom beyond his years. Paris carries his artistic soul and fierce independence. And Biggie, though quiet, honors his father's wish for privacy and strength. In the end, Michael Jackson wasn't just a global icon. He was a present, devoted, and deeply loving dad. The world may remember the moonwalk, the Grammys, the sold-out tours, but his children remember the hugs, the bedtime stories, the quiet moments that mattered most. And that's the part of Michael the world needed to see all along. If this touched you, share it with someone who still sees Michael Jackson only as a performer. And if you believe the world should know the full truth about who he really was, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Because the story of Michael Jackson isn't just music history, it's human.